welcome to today's lesson. Today's lesson is biology, grade 11, under the Zambian syllabus. And our reference book for today is Progress in Biology, grade 11. And it has been published by the Oxford University Press. And this is the approved course book by the Ministry of Education in the Zambian syllabus under the Curriculum Development Center. So our topic for today is titled The Endocrine System and Hormones, and it is actually topic 5, or unit 5, and the subtopic 1. And today's lesson is going to be drawn from pages 92 to page 97. So to start with today's lesson, I'm going to begin with a little bit of an illustration just to give us a picture of what we're going to be talking about. So I want you to picture this scenario, okay? I think it's a common scenario. Most of us have experienced it, especially during childhood. So you're walking, maybe on your way from school or on your way from an errand, and then you just come in contact or you're faced with a vicious dog. Now imagine you are in someone's yard maybe, or just around someone's yard, and there's a wall fence, and the gate is closed, and then this dog comes charging at you. I'm sure you have experienced that from nowhere. No matter how weak you are, you get a sudden burst of strength. Like you even wonder, like, where did this strength come from? And you jump over the fence. You're able to run away from the dog because you're scared. That is scenario number 1. The other scenario, if you are in grade 11, I'm sure you must be maybe between the ages of 14, 15, somewhere there, or 16. So you've noticed from the time you were little, up to the age that you are at now, your body is not the same. There are certain changes that occurred along the way, maybe from the time you were 9, 11, somewhere there. For girls, you notice you now have breasts, your shape is different, and all that. So all those changes happen in the human body. Now, today's lesson is going to be focused on what brings about those changes. For example, the reactory change that I mentioned earlier, where you suddenly just run away from a stressful situation, or the change that occurs over time. That is where you have these changes that occur in your body, which you are able to actually see even physically. So, what is responsible for those changes? That is the topic for today. So I'll write the title on the board. Okay, so that is the endocrine system and hormones. So today we're going to describe what hormones are, and we're also going to look at the endocrine system and what makes it up. So now, the changes that I was talking about are brought about by certain substances or chemical substances which are known as hormones. So what are hormones? So a hormone is a chemical substance that is secreted by endocrine glands and secreted directly into the bloodstream to bring about regulatory changes in target organs. So what we notice here is that by nature, a hormone is a chemical substance. And then where does it come from? It is secreted by the endocrine glands directly into the bloodstream. That means that the blood is actually the one that takes it around the body to bring about certain changes in target organs. So let's try to break this down a little bit. So this is a chemical substance that is secreted in one part of the body, and then it is taken into the bloodstream. The blood carries it around the body and then takes it to particular organs where it brings about certain changes in mechanism. For example, looking at our illustration from before, you find that for you to react, the muscles were involved. So there was a chemical actually which acted as a messenger. In short, hormones can be termed as chemical messengers. So they are actually messages that are sent to certain target organs in order to bring about a certain change in the body. So for you to react, for that surge of strength that you experienced, it was because of a particular hormone that was in your bloodstream, went to your muscles, allowed you to react. Even the second illustration, for the characteristics that we mentioned, where you have development of, or rather growth of breasts and your change in shape and whatever else happens, it was because there's a chemical that was sent as a message in the bloodstream to those particular organs in order to bring about that change. So the organs that we are talking about, these are the ones that are known as target organs. They can be the muscles, like we said. They can be the ovaries. They can be the kidneys. They can be the pancreas, and all those organs that are involved in coordination as well as bringing about changes. Okay, so before we look at the diagram, allow me to also mention that hormones can either be protein in nature or they can be steroids. So there are some hormones that are proteins and other hormones are steroids. So from there, we can now look at the diagram that shows the endocrine system in humans, as well as the endocrine glands and the places where they are situated in the human body. So we have one endocrine gland which is situated just at the base of the brain, and this is known as the pituitary gland. Then we have these two twin hormones that are found around the throat or the neck area, and these are known as the thyroid glands. Then we have two glands that are situated or located above the kidneys, and these are the adrenal glands. And then we have the pancreas. Then we have the ovaries. And then, of course, we have the testes. So these are the endocrine or ductless glands that are found in the human body. So we have the pituitary, which is found at the base of the brain. We have the thyroid glands on the neck area. Then we have the adrenal glands about the kidneys. And then we have the pancreas. Finally, in the lower abdomen, we have the ovaries and the testes. So these are found only in females, and these are found only in males. But the rest are found in both genders. So now, when we look at these glands, they are known as ductless glands. What does this mean? So if we look at this term ductless or a duct is a tube or it's a closed passage. That means glands that have got ducts are able to secrete or release their substances through a closed passage. But for the endocrine glands, these are known as ductless glands because they do not have closed passages. So instead, when these hormones are secreted, they are directly dumped into the bloodstream without passing through any closed passage, and then they are taken around the body to affect certain target organs. So that is why they are known as ductless glands. So having familiarized ourselves with the location of the endocrine glands, we are now going to look at the specific hormones or the particular hormones that are secreted by these glands. So we'll start with the pituitary gland. Now, the pituitary gland is actually known as a master gland. The reason being that apart from it secreting the hormones, or rather the hormones that it secretes actually have an influence on most of these other hormones, as in the effects that they bring to target organs. So there are quite a number of hormones that are secreted by the pituitary gland. I think because of space, I'll write it separately here. Okay, so the pituitary gland secretes a hormone known as the growth hormone. Also, another hormone which is known as the follicle-stimulating hormone. In short, it is known as FSH. It also secretes another hormone known as the luteinizing hormone. It also secretes a hormone called antidiuretic hormone, or ADH. As well as the thyroid stimulating hormone. And it also secretes oxytocin. And finally, for our syllabus, we are also going to look at prolactin. Okay, so we can see from this list here that actually the pituitary gland secretes a lot of hormones that actually also stimulate the other endocrine glands to produce or secrete their specific hormones. Then we're going to move to the thyroid glands. So the thyroid glands secrete a hormone called thyroxine. The adrenal glands secrete the hormone called adrenaline. That is the hormone that I was talking about in my introduction, that enables you to react in such a stressful situation. Then the pancreas secretes two hormones. One is insulin and the other is the glucagon. The ovaries secrete two hormones which are female hormones, namely progesterone and estrogen. Then the testes produce the male hormone known as testosterone. So we are going to look at these hormones in detail, but not just now, seeing as we know that there are many. Each of these hormones have got a specific function and specific target organs where they bring about regulatory changes. But I will just briefly look at or briefly mention the target organs that these hormones are secreted or taken to by the bloodstream. So for the pituitary gland, the growth hormone actually is responsible for growth and development and repair, and works on the muscles. It's responsible for protein synthesis and other aspects related to growth. Follicle stimulating hormone, it is actually targeted at the ovaries, stimulates it to produce the other hormones, as well as to bring about changes in the human body, female body, and even male for that matter. Then we have the luteinizing hormone, which is also targeted at the menstrual cycle, that is in the female body. Then we have the thyroid stimulating hormone. It helps the thyroid gland to secrete its hormone. And then oxytocin and prolactin, these have an effect on the female body during pregnancy, as well as during labor and later on during breastfeeding. Then the thyroid gland are actually also targeted at the muscles, and then also the cells, because they are responsible for metabolic reactions or the rate of metabolic reactions. The adrenal gland affects a number of target organs to enable you to either fight or flee, that is to react in a stressful situation. The pancreas work on the blood sugar to regulate the blood sugar. And then also the ovaries, the estrogen and progesterone have got an effect on the menstrual cycle, as well as the secondary sexual characteristics that we looked at in our introduction. And then the testes also has an effect on the secondary sexual characteristic or the reproductive system in males. So in general, this is what these hormones do. So having looked at the endocrine system in humans, the ductless glands and their location, as well as the hormones that they secrete, we are now going to look at the functions of the human endocrine system. So function number one, the human endocrine system regulates, or it helps maintain homeostasis and control of substances in the human body. So homeostasis is actually the topic that we looked at. We were able to see that it is the process by which substances in the body, or the internal environment of the body, is regulated in order to facilitate for better chemical or metabolism or metabolic reactions. So actually the endocrine system works on regulating the internal environment by controlling the amount of substances that are in the body or in the blood at each particular time. The other function of the human endocrine system is that it works together with the nervous system in order to bring about response to stress. For example, adrenaline, the hormone that we looked at in the beginning that allows you to react to stressful situations. So it works together with the nervous system, because the brain as well as the nerves have to be involved in order for you to respond. So it works with the nervous system in order to bring about response to stressful situations. Then the last function that we're going to look at is that it brings about growth as well as development or sexual development in humans, as well as reproduction. So we see the follicle stimulating hormone, the luteinizing hormone, as well as the estrogen, progesterone, as well as the testosterone. All these are involved in reproduction as well as bringing about sexual development or sexual maturity in humans. Okay, so having looked at the function brings us to the end of the introductory part of this topic, that is the endocrine system and hormones in humans. So in our next lesson, we are now going to focus on the specific the specific endocrine glands as well as the specific hormones, and just exactly what changes they bring about in various mechanisms